All right, should we talk about watch this, bitches?
Yes. I watched a movie on Halloween night, speaking of Halloween, with my son. A Halloween movie called Wendell and Wild, which is the new Henry Selick movie. If you're familiar with his work, he made Coraline and Paranorman, and all those stop motion style movies that are all great. He has a new movie. It's on Netflix, and he co-wrote it with Jordan Peele, who's also voices one of the characters in it with Keegan Michael Key. So it's a Key and Peele reunion. It's written by one of the best horror writers in the business today and directed by one of the best animation directors out there, and Netflix just buried it. Like, it's hard to find. I had to search it if I didn't know it was
kids
out.
Movie?
It's an older kids movie.
Gay marriage?
No, there is a
Trans bathrooms.
There is a trans boy in the movie, but that's
He's just kind of hanging out.
No, he's a main character.
Oh, okay.
He's a main character, and it is part of the story. It's
Is
not
it any good?
It's great.
Okay.
It's creepy. It's got some scary moments in it. That's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily for little kids because it doesn't shy away from being, a not scary movie for kids, but it's a scary movie for kids. And it does a good job at that. It's got a real story to it. And I don't want to give too much away because you guys haven't seen it. The animation is phenomenal. Like, that alone is worth watching just to see it. Key and Peele are funny, obviously. And they play Wendell and Wild. They're two demons. And they want to they want to take over their father's realm in hell. And they need money to do it. And that's as much of and there's a girl on Earth that can summon them to the real world. And this girl doesn't know.
Wendell. Wild.
There is a Beetlejuice-esque aspect to it, especially in the way some of it looks. Yes, there's definitely so. That's what I was thinking of while I was watching it. But again, I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just surprising to me that there was little to no marketing on this movie at all. That has so much talent behind it and is a good movie.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
You can tell me something though, because I'd like to be educated on things.
Mm-hmm.
When you say a trans boy, explain that to me. Is that a trans boy? Are they identifying as a boy, or
yes,
they, okay.
Identifying as a boy? A he.
Okay.
A he.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It could go multiple ways, and I need to know the verbiage.
No,
do you need to know? Why do you need to know exactly?
Because I like to know things.
Okay.
Because he wants to respect people's identity if he's in a situation where he needs to respect someone's identity.
That's not it.
Yeah.
It's got to be something else.
I believe that Shipwreck believes in humanity.
He loves humanity.
We already covered this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
CP only believes in humidity.
Humidity.
CP believes in humidity.
I do believe in humidity. Living in Japan, I definitely believe in humidity. God damn.
No, I like to ask things too, because I'm sure there's listeners
that
have the same questions I do sometimes.
Yes.
Living in the Midwest like we do.
Yes.
So another movie that scares kids.
Mm-hmm.
We watched. It was called Ernest Scared Stupid. Familiar with this film?
I saw that movie. Sounds really scary.
I saw that movie in the theaters.
I don't know if I saw it in the theaters. I definitely saw it when I was little, and I knew I still remembered it having some scary parts, right? Because there's clearly some horror tropes that are in there that, even though the special effects are terrible and the troll that's chasing them around is not all that scary, still, when you're a 5-year-old, you're watching the first half of that movie under a blanket, and then the second half is all whimsical, and we're like, hey, it's an Ernest movie. You guys have seen Ernest before. Nobody's gonna die. Everybody's gonna be okay.
Right.
Eartha Kitt's there to save the day.
I haven't seen that movie.
You have not.
I think I watched the one Ernest movie, the first one, and I was like, yep, I get it.
I mean,
funny.
yeah, that's you do.
I got it, and I did.
Ernest Goes to Camp is
it was good.
Yeah, it's fine.
It was all
still
downhill after that.
Still the best one.
Yeah,
but Ernest Scared Stupid is not a bad Halloween flick.
Ernest Scared Stupid is the second best one.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I also watched a movie that was
for kids
and scary.
Okay.
The original Poltergeist movie from.
My kids love it.
I mean, that's rated PG.
Sure it is. Everything was rated PG back then.
It's crazy that movie is rated PG.
I mean, there is a scene where the guy rips his face off, and that's was pretty graphic for the time. I mean, the special effects are not great by 2022 standards, but that is a man ripping the skin off his face, and you watch it happen, and it's rated PG. Did you remember? I did not. I've seen the movie obviously many times, as I'm sure you guys have, but not recently. Not in like the last.
Sure, right.
It's got to be 20 years.
I was 20 years. At least 20 years since I've seen this movie.
Easy 20 years.
I'm going to ask you if you remember a scene from this movie, because I did not remember it, and it was very surprising to me. I have a feeling Wombat might remember because
is it the parents smoking weed?
Yeah. So I knew he would remember because he remembers everything. But what do you remember about that scene?
I just remember that they smoke weed. That's all I got.
So there's a scene in the movie where the parents are just in their bedroom and the mom is just rolling up joints and they're smoking them and just talking about like nothing crazy, just like they're having some conversation about, he's pretending that he's like diving, like on a high diving board or something. Wasn't like over the top in any way. And that's what was like really interesting about. And then, so they're smoking and then the kid comes into the bedroom because of the storm. You remember the big storm that's like, and so the kid is scared and the mom basically just puts the joint out, doesn't say it. No one makes a big deal about anything, which was like really stuck out to me watching it in 2022. Like this was in like the 80s and this is a Spielberg joint, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it was just sort of there as if like the parents were in the room, in the kitchen drinking a beer, that's like, it was not made into a big deal at all, which is so rare even today. Like, so I just like, that's what stood out to me watching it
in 2022. Kid, though, right?
What's that?
Karate Kid also had that scene, right?
They smoke weed in
They smoke weed in
the high school
kids
well. Do.
Yeah.
The high school.
But it's not they don't make too big of a deal out of it.
Well, in this case, like the kid the kid walks in, like the young boy walks in while they're smoking, and like this just wasn't a thing at all. Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, that wouldn't happen today, right? Like now everything is like.
I think today you could probably get away with doing it that same way.
But they would try to make some sort of bigger joke about it. Like it wouldn't you know what I'm saying? Like you would feel like the pressure.
Sure. Yeah.
But in this case, it was just as if they were having a glass of wine or anything. And it just stuck out to me like that probably would not be that way today. Anyway, the movie still sort of holds up pretty well, I would say. And if you go on HBO Max, they have it in 4K and all that shit, HDR.
You know what I remember? I remember in the early 80s, there was a making of Poltergeist that I feel like they ran on a loop, probably on HBO, that I think I've seen probably more times than the movie itself.
They probably paid a lot of money for the rights to show it, so they had to keep for the actual movie. They had to be constantly promoting it.
I was like, ooh, the making of Poltergeist. So I would just watch it all the time. Like, those skeletons, they were made with they put Rice Krispies on them to make them look all bumpy.
The other thing I did remember from the movie, having not seen it in 20 years, the thing that definitely stood out in my mind was the gratuitous panty scenes. You have like the mom in the panties, like on the ceiling. And I didn't remember the daughter. You even see the daughter's panties. She runs out by the pool and her shirt blows up. Yeah, that's not right. And also when the dad is talking about like his wife, apparently the wife is 32 years old and the daughter is 16. That seemed weird to me. They just sort of throw that out there, unless my hearing is bad.
Rolled back then.
I don't know. It's just, I was like, wait, what? Let me think about the math on that. Anyway, Poltergeist is still good. Check it out on HBO Max before they realize it's in 4K and pull it down.
Yeah, probably.
Also on HBO Max, we started watching the second season of White Lotus, which just started, and now it takes place in Sicily, and it's going to be very good. It's shit, can't remember that. What's the woman's name from Parks and Rec with the brown hair?
Oh, it's Aubrey Plaza, right?
She's in there, and she's got like her role is very subdued in this. She's playing like a lawyer or something on vacation. And it's very different than the role in Parks and Rec. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a nice, funny, slow burn. So
nice.
the first season was awesome. One of my favorite shows. So check out White Lotus.